Hello, you have made the greatest decision choosing to click on this video. If you stay to the end of this video, you're going to learn God's formula for success. And once you understand this formula, you're going to achieve great things in life. Because like the Bible says in Romans 12:2, you have to be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So you've made a great decision choosing to watch this video. Stay to the end of this video and you understand everything you need to know to achieve high success in your lifetime. If you're stuck at any point of success, you will understand how to go even higher with this God formula, okay? So thank you. Click the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think and stay tuned for more. So let's get into it. What is the God formula? I want you to understand you are transformed by the renewal of your mind. So my intention in this video is to renew your mind with information about who you are and the environment around you. God has made this reality with certain systems and laws that will never change. And once you understand this formula, you're free for life. You're going to achieve great things, guys. So let's start here. Before you were born, the world existed before you were born. I saw a video today. Somebody said if you're born in 2025, you missed everything. He was making fun of babies that were born in 2025 because they missed everything. They missed COVID. They missed all the things, right? So the world existed before you were born. So what is the first part of the formula? Your environment. Your environment. Your environment existed before you were born. And what do I mean by environment? People. That could be your family, your mom, your dad, your siblings, your church. All those people existed before you existed, and they existed in your environment, right? Simple. What else also existed? History. History existed before you were born. The things that happened in the past. Like they said, if you were born in 2025, you missed everything. Everything already happened, and you're too late. Right? What else existed? Media, music, right? Movies. All these things. What else? Your culture. What else? Religion. These things all existed before you existed. So, like in the Bible, it says, I knew you before you were conceived, right? The world existed before you were even thought of. So these are the things. This is the first part of the formula that you need to understand. And the second part of the formula, which is added. So your environment is added to your mind. We're going to get into in a second. Your mind, your mindset. Your mindset is everything that makes you who you are. If you get shot in the head today, you're not going to remember anything. You're not going to remember the environment, the things you were taught. You're not going to remember anything because your brain is going to be damaged, right? So that is going to affect you. You have no, like, if they chop off your head, you can't do anything. So your brain is the most important thing in your body, in this reality. Your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, all your senses are transmuted and translated through your mind. You understand? All your senses are translated and transmuted through your mind. So I need you to understand your mind, right? So what is your mind made of? Now this is your mind. This big circle right here, this big head. Now let's draw your body, right? Like I said, everything in your body, all your senses are controlled by your mind. And this is your mind right here, right? So let's separate your mind. Your mind is made up of two things. Simple. Your mind is divided into two parts. What are those parts? Your conscious mind, conscious, and your subconscious mind. So your mind is divided into your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And all these things, translates into all your senses. All your senses are transmuted through these things, right? And all these things make you who you are. And they dictate. And who are you? Who are you? Your actions. You're defined by your actions. And your actions create your reality. Right? Your personal reality, your personality, your reality. Right? So this is the God formula for your life, for reality, basically. For your reality. Because your reality is different from my reality, because your mindset and your environment that existed before your mindset existed is different from mine. If you get it at this point, then you get it. But I'm going to go deeper, right? So like I said, your environment existed before your mind. So once you were born into your environment, right? That's why the environment comes first. Once you were born into your environment, then your environment starts to feed your mind. That's why the plus sign is here. Your environment starts to feed your mind. So what does your environment feed your mind with? It feeds your mind in your subconscious. Let's draw a fluid line here. It's like a liquid. The juices that seep into your environment, into your mind from your environment. To create what? What is stored in your subconscious? Language, beliefs. In your mind, you have your emotions, right? They're all stored in your subconscious mind. Like I said, if you're born in a different environment, you're going to speak a different language. If you're born in a different environment, you're going to have a different religion. You're going to have a different culture. You're going to have a different mindset about women. You're going to have a different mindset about men. You're going to feel different things about different subjects, about different foods. Like for instance, Indians, they don't eat cows because in their religion, in some religions in India, they worship cows. So they do not eat cows. You understand? Because that was as a result of the environment that they were born into. You need to realize that you are born into this world with an empty mind. You're born into this world with an empty mind. You have no mind when you're born into this world. You're an empty vessel. And the way that vessel is filled, like I said, these juices come from your environment. Through what? Information. So like I said in the start of this video, Romans 12:2, be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So before we get into that deeper, right? So everything from your environment feeds into your subconscious. They change your language, they dictate your beliefs, they dictate your emotions. All those things are fed from your environment. If you're born in a different environment, you're going to be a different person entirely. So when your environment has fed you all these things up to a certain age, let me say 18 years old. Now you're pushed into the world and you want to achieve success. You want to do great things. You want to become somebody. Then you start to struggle. Why? Because the environment you're in doesn't match the reality of who you want to become. The environment you were born into does not match the reality of who you want to become. Do you understand that? The environment you were born into does not match the reality of who you want to become. So you start to struggle because you realize some of the things that your environment told you, like go to school and get a job and you'll be fine, was a lie. You start to realize that a lot of people live in fear. A lot of people are not successful. A lot of people don't do anything outside of the normal. You start to realize that when you reach a certain age, which is why you find videos like this to help you to transform your mind so that you can get new information. That's a tip right there, right? So you start to struggle. And when you start to struggle, that means you're getting new information from your environment once again, right? Money. This is something that will come up in your environment. Relationships. Another thing is health. Another subject, right? Your health. So a new information comes into your from your environment about money. You need to pay your bills. So that is going to trigger things in your subconscious. And what are those things is going to trigger? It's going to trigger emotions, positive and negative emotions. You're going to go to work and you're going to work hard and they're going to pay you a little bit. They're going to pay you a small amount of money. Like I remember working I remember working in a warehouse and I was working a 12-hour shift. That day I worked so hard, but I worked so hard. I carried all the tires. They had me like, cause I'm a big dude, right? I'm 6'4", 270 pounds. They had me putting the biggest tires at the top of the warehouse. So I was putting big tires at the top of the warehouse for 12 hours, guys. At the end of my shift, my hand started to hurt. I was like, wow, my hand is hurting from all this work. So then you start to realize, and I was doing that because I needed to pay bills. And they say hard work pays off. They say hard work, the harder you work, the more money you get. So you realize that that's a lie. And what did that do? That triggered negative emotions in my spirit. Because what? So it triggered negative thoughts. I started to think, this is not true. So like I said, your environment and the things that you believe will be filtered through your subconscious mind and they will create thoughts in your head. So you are not your thoughts, first of all. I need you to realize you're not your thoughts. Your thoughts are filtered through your belief system that is created in your subconscious mind, filtered by your beliefs and your emotions, right? You are not your thoughts. So every time you have a thought, you need to realize, is that a belief or a fact? So I started to think, wow, I worked so hard. And after working so hard and my hands started hurting, I got my paycheck. And my paycheck was like $300 after 2 weeks of work. And my hand was dislocated, bruh. Do you understand? So I started to think, does hard work really pay off? Does hard work really pay off? Does hard work actually get you rich? I started to think those thoughts and started to say that can be a fact. It's a belief. It's not a fact. It's a belief. After that, I was also opportune to work in big corporations in the United States, right? Project management firms, where you see project managers that are earning six figures a year, and all they do is communicate and have meetings. All they do is have meetings all day to make sure a project is moving along, and they get paid way more than the person that's lifting tires and sweating and doing this hard work. So you need to realize hard work has nothing to do with success. The higher the spiritual work, which is the mental work, the higher you get paid. But the physical work will not get you paid as high as spiritual work, mental work, right? You need to understand that. So that made me question my beliefs. And I found out that was a belief. It wasn't a fact that hard work pays off. The wrong hard work does not pay off, right? So you need to realize your belief system is fed by the people, your history, the media, the music, the movies, and your religion to tell you who you are. And guess what? All these things are created by people who have what? Who grew up in a certain environment and have a certain mindset. So it's a loop, it's a recursive thing. This thing is just repeating itself over and over and over again, right? People who grew up in a certain environment and have a certain mindset will tell you and transform, like your parents are going to transfer their mindset into you. So if your parents are poor, most likely you're going to be poor. If your parents were a slave, living paycheck to paycheck, they're going to transfer that mindset into you because that's all they know from their environment and their lifetime, and that's what they learned in their mindset, right? And do you think your boss wants you to understand this stuff? Your boss doesn't want you to understand this because then you can be the boss. Your boss is not going to teach you this stuff. You understand? So you need to understand this deeply. Your mindset is created by your environment, and what you believe you are and the things you believe you can achieve have been dictated to you by other people who learned that stuff from their environment because they were not privileged to be in an environment with wealthier people, right? So like I said, information is what feeds your mind to create your mindset, right? Your environment sends information to your mind to create your actions and your reality. So you need to understand that deeply. So you need to be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So how do you change your reality? That's what this whole formula is for. You can become anything and achieve anything if you believe and understand this formula right here. And you work it backwards, right? You need to learn how to work things backwards. How do I change my reality? So to change your reality, you need to change your actions, first of all, because your actions are dictated by your environment, what you've learned from your environment. The information your environment has fed your mind is what will change your actions. So what do you need to change? First of all, let's go back a little bit. The information that is being fed into your mind by the people, history, media, music, movies, religion in your environment, the only way they can send that information into your mind is through words. If I'm not talking in this video, I'm just going, how are you going to get this information? If you put the video on mute, you're never going to get this information. Do you understand? The only way somebody who is deaf can get this information in this video is if they have a transcript or what's it called? Captions on the video, because they will have to read the words. So information is transferred through words. And words can be sound or read or written, right? Sound or text. Words can only be sound or text. If there's another way words can be I know maybe blind people can also touch something and they can read words, right? That's true. But they also need hearing to be able to know what words are in the first place. But yeah, so words can only be transferred through sound or text. So what is the most important part of your mind? What is the gateway to your mind? Your eyes and your ears. Your eyes and your ears are the gateway to your mind, because that is the only way you can receive words, and the only thing that words carry is information. If I tell you, hit the subscribe button, I'm passing that information to you, and that's the only way I can tell you to hit the subscribe button. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and like this video to support my channel, okay? So the only way you can transfer information is through eyes and ears, guys. So what must you change to change your reality? Remember, the only way you can change your reality is by taking action. And the only way you can change your actions is by changing what? Your environment. Your mindset. So how do you change your environment and your mindset? By changing the information that is coming through, and by formatting what you currently believe about yourself and what you can achieve. The only way you can change your reality is by changing your actions. And the only way you can change your actions is by changing the information that you listen to, which are the words and the text, the sounds and the text in the form of words that pass information into your mind through your eyes and ears. You have to change that to be able to change your mindset. And you have to format your mind. Formatting, that is erasing what you believe about yourself currently from your past. So if you want to do that, go ahead and subscribe now, because this is the place where you're going to get more and more information about this formula. Because like I said, the only way you're going to change your reality is by changing your actions. And the only way you're going to change your actions is by the transformation of your mind. Be renewed by the transforming of your mind. You are renewed by the transformation of your mind. So right now I am transforming your mind through the words that I'm putting you on. The information that I'm putting through the screen right now is what is transforming your mind and who's waking you up. So if you want to learn how to get the right information to scale from any level, whether you're making 6 figures, 7 figures right now, and you want to start making 8 figures, 9 figures, go ahead and click the link in my bio and book a one-on-one session with me. That one-on-one session with me, I will unlock your mind to the potential of what you can achieve and how you can change the information you receive to do better in your business, and also how you can format what you already believe about yourself. Voila.